Are you good to go?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Excellent. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Talk to Danielle podcast. I am your host, Danielle C. Baker. And before we get started, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow whichever channel you're watching or listening from. And of course, season two is, and there's something new for us this year. And this episode is brought to you by the Self Esteem Doctor, the online academy. We have the wonderful Dr. Simone Alicia, who has developed a whole bunch of resources to help children with building up their self-esteem, their confidence, and even helps with adults and teenagers as well. So be sure to have a look. I will add the information in the comments below and sign up for the Self-Esteem Doctor Online Academy. So today we have a very interesting topic, and the guests that I will be introducing very soon came on the podcast last year for season one. So I invite you to come and see that. We were talking about bullying, and he was sharing his stories, his experiences. Having been bullied throughout his academic years. And we're going to take it one step further today with this episode and talk about what it's like to be living with epilepsy and the challenges that come with that, and how bullying is actually connected. Bullying and epilepsy can be connected. So we'll definitely get more into details. So I would like to introduce Carlos Kyles. Thank you so much, Carlos, for joining me. And can you share just briefly your story to get us started?
Oh, yes, ma'am. For all those that don't know me, my name is Carlos Kyles, and like I have epilepsy though. I know though since like high school, even though my mom told me though that I had epilepsy though all my life though, because that might have been connected though with my breathing difficulties I had though during birth though, which would make sense. But I had my
Mhm.
first seizure though like at home when I was in a bad argument, unfortunately though, like with my brother, and the seizure happened out of nowhere. But my brother and sister though called the hospital and stuff, and I was able to get an ambulance. And when I had that seizure the first time, I wasn't used to it, so I was trying to to go to high school though, like, normally, but I felt a lot of pain in my chest. So I found out the hard way that, yeah, after you had a seizure though, you had to, like, take it easy. And
Exactly.
of course, I eventually recovered, but I had a second seizure while I was at Jefferson Davis Community College, and it was at a basketball game in front of people. So my
Mhm.
aunt and my cousin was able to call the ambulance, and I was able to get that help I need again. And I think with the first time I had a seizure, it was triggered by stress. But I learned the hard way that the second seizure was triggered by hunger, hunger. So I learned, with that one that, well, if I get too stressed out, or in that case, if I get too hungry, that could, trigger a seizure, because that's also connected with the depression that I dealt with, because I was going through like depression during that time, to where, you know, like not only struggled with epilepsy, but I was struggling with depression so bad I barely ate. I was literally like
Mm.
starving myself and not taking care of myself, and I didn't care. So that only contributed to the epilepsy, though. That basically was another trigger, though. Like if you don't even take care of yourself, that's basically another trigger in addition to to stress. And I'll never
Mhm.
forget when I went to the freshman orientation at Alabama State University. I don't remember the lady's name. I wish I remember, but she was a well-known talk show host. I think her name was Chantel or something like that back in the day. And
Right.
I shared a little bit about how she just put me in the hospital and stuff. And I think some folks just looked at me, or other students just looked at it like it was a joke. But I'll never forget what she said. Y'all are laughing now, but this guy might be one of your bosses. So I got a hug though from her though, and got one of her books, and she just gave me a hug and just encouraged me. And this was a well known
Mhm.
talk show host though, because when other students though was looking at me, and I hate to say though, but even treating my epilepsy story at that moment though like it was a joke, that was discouraging. But to have a lady like that though just prophesied over you and said that he may be one of your bosses someday, like that, it was amazing to see, somebody that saw something special in me though, when during that time I struggled to see something special in myself though, because I'm like, me be a boss though one day, shoot, I'm still learning how to live with epilepsy and something like that. But I'm gonna
Yeah.
connect that. But I'm gonna connect that to something else that I'm gonna explain though later. But of course, I shared that, and that was really encouraging. And I did my best though as a student at Alabama State University. But when you have epilepsy, though, it makes it a lot harder because you got to make sure you take your, like your medicine. I had to make sure I stayed out of trouble. Of course, not be triggered by stress. I had to make sure I eat and stuff, which made it rough and things like that. But unfortunately,
Hmm.
things got really frightening because I was struggling though just to fit in on campus and with a dance team that I used to be a part of. And of course, that was really rough though because I was trying to fit in, and of course, that in itself though was a struggle. And of course, I chose to be on that team, but of course, I had to, of course, pay the price though for doing something that okay, maybe it wasn't one of my better ideas, but of course, I learned the hard way. But what got me out of, the lion's den, as I call it during that time, was when I was in one of the academic hallways and I had a seizure and I was a couple of steps though, like on the stairs, I was a few steps up and I just fell and wham, had a seizure all alone. And I was able to get up though, but that in itself though was just miraculous because I was
Wow.
all alone when that happened. And it's only by the grace of God that it didn't like kill me.
Yeah.
So I, walked to my friends. They got me to the hospital. I came back to my friends. They were like, "Don't scare us like that anymore." So I was able to get the help that I need and went home. But I'll never forget though when my friend said, "Carlos, if you would have been a couple of steps higher, you would have been gone." And he's right though because when you have a seizure and if you hit your head though on something like a concrete or something, unless God intervenes, you're gone.
Yeah.
So like when I, got home, of course I recovered and everything because when I had that seizure that time, it broke my jaw. And I
Oh my
had to,
goodness.
yeah, I had to survive off of Gatorade and liquid food though for weeks. And here's the funny part. I had to keep my sanity by watching food shows like,
Oh,
Fighting with Foods or Dinings and Dash. For some people that might have been torture, but I was like,
yeah.
me, that's my way of keeping my sanity. Like, yeah, I'm gonna eat solid foods again.
You're living vicariously through these people that are eating solid food. That's funny, and that's a challenge too because you kind of gave a good point, and a lot of people don't. Like, actually, you've made some really good points, but the feeding is not just the stress. And your emotional state, but it's your physiology, your physical state as well. I mean, if you've eaten properly, if you've slept properly, and you're talking about high school and college where we don't really take care of ourselves when it comes to sleep and eating. So that's something that people don't really realize that there is an impact, and how people are not taking it seriously. I really appreciate that you share that because it's still. I mean, I grew up, back in the 70s and 80s where um, people thought that you needed to go to church to save yourself from epilepsy. They weren't really taking it as a condition, um, and it's not your fault. You say your friends are saying, don't do this to us again. How are you supposed to control that, right? How are you don't have control over it. So there's a lot of stigma on that. Can you kind of talk about stuff that you live with it, so you know exactly what you need to look out for, and you always live with that stress that you may get another one, and like you said, it could happen when you're by yourself. But people that don't have epilepsy, can you share a little bit what those challenges are that we wouldn't even think about? We would take it for granted, things that we do on a day to day that we take for granted that you need to be more careful with, just to be on the safe side.
Well, I would say first and foremost though, like so many things you want to like watch out for is hey, if is that person stir off into space or what's not? Because I say that because I noticed that when I'm dealing with mini seizures, like I will sometimes stare off into space or I will sometimes smell something fiery or see different colors. And with a mini
Mm.
seizure, like as long as I'm taking my medicine, as long as I lay down and get something to drink and cool down though, I'm fine. But of course, that has its challenges in itself, though, because of course, through college and throughout different parts of life, though, like if I miss, my medicine, I had another seizure in 2013, had another one in 2017 when I was stressed out, though, due to, church or whatever. But the point behind all that though is that I really gotta watch like my stress levels or
Yeah,
whatever though. And sometimes you just gotta watch out, yeah, you gotta just really watch how that person is reacting to stress though. Like, are they staring off though, or do they look like woozy or whatever though, or they do they look like they're about to fall or things like that. And overall
right,
though, like you just gotta watch if that person taking care of themselves and how it's affected them or things like that. Because in a lot of cases, that a person with epilepsy though, like maybe they need to do a lot more than just like rest or or something like that. And sometimes you might want to ask though, hey, are they seeing a neurologist or seeing a epilepsy or whatnot? Are they getting the proper help or things, like that?
right, right. No, that's good to know. And again, things that we don't think about, but um, the senses, like you said, you could be smelling something, or everybody's different. Everybody's reactions are different. So we can't just think that because one person has their seizure a certain way that everybody has it the same way is very different. And I've worked with children that sometimes it would just be you wouldn't even know that they were having. It's such a small seizure. The eyes would just roll back for maybe a few seconds and then they'd come back, but you could tell that they were disoriented. So I'm glad that you shared that. There's some examples of what that could look like. um, I want to jump into, because you're a big advocate about bullying, and I'm not saying you're encouraging bullying. I'm saying that you're advocate against bullying with your personal experiences. And can you share a little bit how bullying and triggering seizures can be connected? What bullying, what part does that play into possibly triggering somebody?
Well, that's a good question because, like, if the kids though like know that this particular child have a seizure, and then when they don't like understand it or take it seriously though, like they may mock the child or troll the child though by pretending they're having seizures or whatever though, or they might be called like harsh names, and that could be
Right.
a trigger as well because that's connected with stress. And when you add stress from bullying, as well as with the stress of everyday life and trying to management, especially as a child, though, it makes it worse. And not only that, though, but you feel though about yourself because shoot, when I was a student at Alabama State, I felt bad because I wanted to fit in and stuff and be normal. So with a child, that's going to be even more intense because they're going to be like, hey, I just want to be normal. I don't want to be picked on for something though that's beyond my control. And whether you're a college student or a child, of course, it's gonna hurt your self esteem and self, confidence, especially when you get older and realize that, man, if you have epilepsy, I can't even get my license, you know,
Mhm.
and when I'm trying to, do everyday things, it just makes it like, even harder. And when folks don't understand, and to make it worse, when they snap on you or something because they don't understand, that really makes it, you know, frustrating. So with
Yeah.
epilepsy and bullying though, like it hurts the child's, confidence. They have to decide to just be, normal. And in the child's mind, though, they be like, how in the world do I manage something though that other kids put me down for? How do I get help with this?
Right. Right. You could feel alone, like you don't feel supported at all. And being bullied to begin with is hard enough as it is, but to have that extra stress factor, it really does pile on. From your experience, having lived with it, and yeah, I'm sure you've met other people as well. You did mention earlier about the celebrity, the talk show host that had really supported you. She really kind of let people snap out of it and say, "Hey, this is serious, and this is a person." Is there anything that teachers could do, or that they should be on the lookout for, to be able to help students with epilepsy, so that they can feel safe when they're at school or in class? Or is there anything that you would share with us?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I would say, try to get to know the child better. And when you do, though, hey, that allows you to learn the child, triggers, and you can constantly check on the child to act. Are you feeling okay? Are you feeling woozy? Are you feeling weird in any kind of way? Do you need to lay down? Do you need an extra snack or whatever? And just
Mhm.
even maybe to help the class to understand that you're not trying to give special treatment, but you're trying to make sure the child is, oh, like okay, because maybe they feel funny, maybe they need to take a nap or something like that. Just get a better understanding of the child triggers and some of the best ways that you can help, and just help them to and just help the child the best you can in terms of not only making sure they're okay, but if they're struggling academically because of it, though, like maybe try to make certain accommodations though, like to help them or what's not, because maybe the child needs extra study time, or maybe the child needs to take their test though in a less stressful environment, and just
Right.
figure out like what's best for that child in terms of taking care of them, make sure they don't have a seizure, make sure they're taking their medicine, and just not only encourage that child, but to empower that, empower that, that child, that, and just let them know that, having epilepsy doesn't have to stop you from, of course, though, being a kid or doing good in the classroom.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a good point too. It's not necessarily this. When I used to work in the schools as well, is telling teachers, it's not more work. Asking, taking the time, making sure that taking the time and making sure the child is comfortable. Uh, but to also think that if the child does get a seizure in class, that would require a lot more damage control afterwards. So it's better to be preventative than to be reactive. So it's important to get to know the child, what triggers them, so the child feels safe to tell the teacher if they're not feeling right, and they can help before it gets really bad. I did have another question about, you know you've experienced this a lot more into your adult years, so what teachers could be on the lookout. But when you're in the workforce, when you're out there looking for a job, and you do get your job, you still have some stress uh, involved in your day to day at work. So can you share anything with us of what employers could do to help support employees that have epilepsy, and how they can again create that safe environment for those employees?
Well, just like with the student, get to know your employee, just to, understand your like employees' triggers, try to understand how they can manage, like manage it, and maybe, have that particular employee though maybe work like certain jobs or something like that, and figure out something
Mm,
where, okay, I can have them work certain jobs without interrupting like, everything and things like that, and just understand though that with their particular employee, they gotta do their best though to, of course, take care of themselves, make sure like they're eating and taking breaks or whatever. Like they're not asking for special treatment, but they just want to make sure that they take care of themselves and make sure they don't get triggered by stress or anything. And just to understand
yeah.
that that employee is trying to work hard. They just don't want to, have a seizure and scare everybody half to death on the job. Because I thought about that while I was working at like Burger King and even at Burlington. Because with Burger King, I had some bosses that was really cool, but I had one boss that thought I was being like lazy or whatever. But there were times where I would just stare out and stuff. And yeah, I even hid in the fridge though. But I will admit that though. But I was doing that just to stay calm and stuff because I was trying my best to make sure not to have a seizure. And when I used to work at the deli, like I did have a crazy moment where like I literally got cussed out on the job, had one of my fellow employees just growl at me just to keep it family friendly. But I'll be real
Wow.
though. I got so ticked off that I had to leave the job because I was like, well, I gotta leave because if I get too stressed out or mad, I could trigger a seizure or heart attack because my chest was hurting really badly and it was scary.
Right.
And of course, I think I tell the truth though. Like I had to be the big person and leave because I can't just swing on someone because I'll go to jail. So I had no choice, like but to leave though. And of course, it was really discouraging. And of course, you'll have some people that say, "Oh, you should not have left or left your job." But of course, I got a little frustrated because I was like, I just don't
Right.
understand. I had to leave though, just to just so I wouldn't do something that I would regret. And of course, I had to leave so I wouldn't have, like a seizure or whatever, though. Because to some people, though, it's worth it to try to keep that particular job. But in some cases, it's not always worth it. So that's a moment that always teach you that you got to do what's best for you. But not everything at that particular job we was at the deli was all bad because I heard one of the most encouraging things that my that one of my bosses though said, you can have epilepsy, you can have autism, you can have Asperger's, or I added this one, or you even have Tourette's, but don't let it stop you from living your life. And that was so true because with that particular job, and I'm connected though with getting over the bullying and rejection though. Like in 2019, you know, that's the good part because during that year, I just got a job and I was just getting over a girl that I used to like, which took me 3 years to get over her. And it was the same girl that I was suicidal over at
Mhm.
one point. But I'm not now though, because I'm in a much better place, thanks to, of course, letting her go and going back to the church, being
Right.
at a different church, working a job, hitting the gym. I felt great, again.
Mhm.
And I'm glad she said, don't let it stop you living your life, though, because the fact that I was going to church, I was working, I was hitting the gym, I felt like I was finally living,
Right.
living again. That was a really encouraging. 2019, though, was one of the most encouraging, like, years, though, like in my life.
That's good. That's good to hear that you can still have um, the life that you want to build, and to see that your employer or your boss at the deli was encouraging you that way, to say this was a bad experience, but it doesn't mean it always has to be a bad experience. And talking about it like this and sharing your story can help a lot for people to realize the impact uh, it has, and what you have to live through every day that we don't think of. So it's really good that you share that. And I'm sorry, I was struggling to find my words there because there's another question that popped in my mind, and I didn't kind of prepare you for this one, but I'd like to take that further. We talked about employers and what they could do to help. But what could we do to make sure that the other employees, your coworkers, understand the severity? Because, like you were saying, if somebody is triggering you, um, the team should be able to support you in that as well, and say, hey, let's calm down, or just to wait before it, just to try to stop it before it escalates to the point where you need to walk out of your job. That, can you think of anything? And I'm kind of putting you on the spot there. Uh, how could we prepare a team of people? And we can do that in schools as well. How do we prepare the students without putting the person on the spot, to say, hey, like, what can we do to help?
Uh, I would just say, like, if you're living with epilepsy, one of the best ideas I can think of right now is maybe just be upfront with your employer and let them know like what you're struggling with, but help them to understand that, yeah, I live with epilepsy, but I want to do my job like anybody else. I'm not asking for special treatment, and I'm definitely not asking to be a victim. I just want to do my job like anyone
Yeah.
anyone else, and I just want to try to get whatever accommodation I can though to make sure that not only I can do my job, but just make sure that if I'm having a seizure or whatever though, I could lay down if I need to, or leave if necessary, or maybe work the least stressful like part of the job or whatever, because you'll meet some bosses that are cool, and let's just be real now. And there's some though that's not like understanding, and even if you can't get that particular job, I would tell anybody, don't get discouraged. Just don't be afraid to do what's best for you though. Like if you can get that job and make it work, awesome. If not, maybe trying to find another job, or maybe look into
Yeah.
other options, like maybe working from home or something like that, because you got a lot of more people working at home. So you can consider that, or maybe try to meet with maybe like a mentor or someone that can help you not only look for a job, but find something that's best for you though.
Mhm.
And of course, I'll just share real quick that lately though, I'm learning to work from home, and I have worked from home before, and it was super convenient because I can rest as long as I need to. I could, go in the kitchen and eat and stuff. So not only can I work, but it makes taking proper care of myself though a lot
Yeah.
easy. So maybe if this one particular job doesn't work out for you though, look to your options. And I'll say it again, don't be afraid to do what's best for you, because it's like my boss though said though, Miss Susan, like you can have epilepsy, but don't let it stop you from living your life, because again, like I had to learn that, yeah, you gotta be flexible and adjust and adapt though. Okay, maybe if I can't work a normal nine to five though at McDonald's, maybe I can work from home, or get a job that'll make it or get a particular job that'll make it easier for me though to take better care of myself and make sure I eat and stuff, properly. And I can show the apostle that, hey, again, I'm not asking for spiritual privilege or playing the victim. I just want to do my job to the best, though, without scaring anybody half to death.
Right. Yeah. No, and that's a beautiful message that you're sending. And make sure you're taking care of yourself. I mean, yes, work is important, but your health is just as important, if not, well, it's more important. So, and working from home is a lot easier than it was 5 years ago. So it's an advantage to have that option. Um, you have been working, like I said earlier, you're this advocate against bullying, and you're helping a lot of people. Um, and again, I will invite other people to have a look at season one. I believe it's episode 4, where Carlos talks about his experience as long-term bullying. Can you talk a little bit about the work that you do in helping people overcome the effects of being bullied for so long, and how you can overcome that? Like you said, there was a time where you were really in a dark place, and then you came out of that, surrounding yourself with the right people, taking care of yourself, and all of that. Can you talk a little bit more about how you support people through that?
Oh, yes. Like with Polysol over the years, as I've been working on the vision and learning how to do a startup, I've been like networking with people, been hearing some really powerful bullying stories of some as well. A lot of them are tear jerkers. Like they'll just, bring the emotion like out of
Yeah.
you. But working on starting a nonprofit though, and as well as a for profit, but they'll be two separate entities or like sister companies. But in addition to that though, I got two other businesses that I'm, working on, which is flexible within my schedule. Because one is with Amway, and I was able to set up an online shop called Neat Man Shop, where I sell. Hold on a sec, to where I
That's
sell,
nice.
you know, products like double X vitamins and energy drinks, and products though that are made from all natural ingredients and plant based. There's
Nice.
skincare products for the ladies and all types of like soap and stuff though from like for men and women as well, and they're made from some of the best like products. And I'm
Yeah.
also working on getting my license to sell insurance though with Primerica. So I'm setting up two different companies to where not only can I sell stuff for myself, but I can hire people, or in this case with epilepsy, or people who are being bullied though. Like I want to set up something to where I can, hire people and we can team up like together though, and you can have like a at home, job though that could be, flexible within your schedule. And note that a lot of people with epilepsy are struggling to get a job. So I want to set up something to where I can, give people like a job. And since it's, work from home or something like that, you can work from home, and with a work at home job, it can not only build their, confidence and generate like income, for
Right.
them, but it can, help accommodate like their needs. Like you're at home, you can set up your own schedule and you can eat when you need to. You can rest if you need to. And if there's a problem, you can talk, to me because hey, I'm an easygoing guy and I'm gonna boss that like
Yeah.
if there's an issue, let's fix it. Let's not play around.
Yeah.
And with Polysol, I'm working on a bully recovery platform to where we're want to help people though deal with and heal with bullying. Provide a curriculum that teach them how to shift their focus, mindset, attitude, and shift from a victim mindset to a victor mindset. And I'm also planning on coming out with a superhero book called, Neat Man, maybe like a video game and other products. Because there's a lot of ways so that I want to help
Yeah.
people, and if I can help people like if I can provide opportunity through Primerica and well, do selling insurance through Primerica, which I'm still working on, and with Amway, they can buy, products like these that, vitamins that can help them not only with their, health and help take better care of themselves, but it can even provide them a job.
Yeah. And that's you. So you're kind of you're looking at the bigger picture. You're providing a really wide range of support for people that are living through it, and I think that's wonderful. So I'll put some information about Polysol, your company, and people could reach out if ever they like to talk to you about how to to work that through, and especially with the support with bullying and life after it. What do I do from here? How do I take care of myself? So I think that's wonderful. I always like to ask little questions that is a bit off topic. So I'm just wondering if you would mind sharing something about you that people don't necessarily know about. And it could be anything from a hobby, from something that you like to do, just something that people not necessarily know. Say, I didn't know Carlos like that or did that. Or can you share anything uh, of the sort?
Let's see. Something that well,
So I know you like dancing. I'm sorry I cut you off there. I know you mentioned that before. You like dancing, but something that nobody would know about.
I don't think I tell a whole lot of people, but I want to learn how to cook more. Like I want to,
Oh, nice.
I want to learn to do a lot more cooking to the point where I do fusion though, like maybe mixing like you know ideas from like maybe like Italian cuisines, Jamaican culture, mixing Asian food because I really love like Asian food and stuff.
Yeah.
But I like to be creative though, so if I can maybe mix in, shoot, I hear how creative I am, like. I want to, cook the kind of thing to where maybe I do a mix of tacos and orange chicken with salad and rice or something like that. I
Oh,
actually got
that would
that
be nice.
idea though from a trip though because I went on a trip to Tennessee with my friends and we stopped at a KFC and Taco Bell restaurant and they were both combined and that was really cool though because we was at a restaurant KFC and Taco Bell combined to where it was like wow if you want to you can order chicken nuggets and tacos if you want to and that's one thing I want to do though. I really want to get more into cooking and just do more like fusion, cooking and stuff like that. Just be really creative though with my cooking.
Yeah, oh, that's amazing. I actually like that idea. That's really fun. Are you still able to hear me? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, no, I just wanted to make sure because my headset's just turned off, so I wanted to make sure that you could still hear me. Um, I think that's just such a good idea to have that fusion. I'm actually I like that idea with the orange chicken. That's really nice. Um, can you talk about what's coming up for you? Anything new? Anything new projects? Because you did talk about you're getting your license to sell insurance and Polisol as well. But anything that you're working on currently that you could share with us?
Oh, yes. I did mention it earlier, but well, with Amway, I got a online store called Neat Man Shop to where I'm gonna be selling like products though that help you that to help you with your health and things like that because that's one thing that can help a lot of people heal though from bullying though. It's just focusing on their health though. Like if we got people that are hitting the gym though to of course work on their physical health and stuff. I sell products though that help with that, but it can also be an opportunity though if you want to have your own like online business that can fit your like schedule and it's work from home though because I especially want to reach out to people with with epilepsy and just help them to see how great an opportunity though can be though if that is best for you and same with Primerica because I'm currently working on getting my license and opening up a business and I eventually want to have a business to where I can like hire, recruits, especially those that struggle with, epilepsy though, and they can sell insurance. And I could just encourage them though and let them know that epilepsy doesn't have to stop you from living your life. And sometimes you just gotta adjust though. Like if you can't work at McDonald's normally, that's okay though. Sometimes you gotta do something else, and that might be the perfect fit like for you. And I also wanna again though create like more opportunity to cross out to where we're working on the bully recovery tag and other products and set some up to where if other people maybe want to work for Polysaw or maybe like volunteer somehow we want to
Yeah.
do that though as well.
Oh, that's great. And if anybody would like to help and support you, I do believe that they can make donations. Would you mind sharing what your and I'll add that to the description and the comments in the with the podcast. So if anybody would like to support you and donate, they can send directly to you.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, I had to double check real quick. Oh yeah, like if you feel like the like the donate, I got a cash app and Hold on, I gotta double check the look at my Cash App.
Oh, that's okay. I can actually I can add it to the comments so people will see it. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, I thought I had it too. You had mentioned earlier, but I'll add it to the comments so people can see. So I'm just directing everybody, just check the description of this episode and look in the comments, and you'll see Carlos's information there if you'd like to support him in this wonderful cause of helping people with epilepsy, people recovering for bullying, and how they can create a healthy, successful life for themselves. So I think it's wonderful with the work that you do.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
I also ask this question. I believe I did ask you last year when we did the first episode, and that's just because it's a question that a little girl has asked me during an interview, and I thought I'd ask everybody. Oh, perfect. Okay, so for your Cash App, let me just double check again. I had it in the comments there. There we go.
And I apologize though for the audience because like I'm a really busy man, and ever since the first time I've been on here though, business has really been picking up because I'm so blessed right now that opportunities are seeking me out.
That's amazing. Yeah, so for the Cash App, you're looking at the $, capital C, capital T, capital K, R, B. So again, I will add that to it and to the comments and description so people can send it out. But would you mind sharing what you would? It's a question that we ask children all the time, but when we ask adults, some people don't know how to answer. What would you like to be when you grow up?
Well, I know last time I said a superhero, but this time around I'm gonna say a world changer.
I like that. I was curious to know if it was going to be different from last year. That's why I love asking that question, because it can change, because we change, and how things at work change as well. So I think it's wonderful. And we were just adding as well for the Venmo, it's at ckyles3. And again, I will write that information in there. So I think that's what a world changer is. It's a big shoes to step in. So I know you can do it. That's for sure. You have the creativity and the energy to do it. I think it's wonderful.
Absolutely. And I'll just encourage anyone, like, yeah, if you're seeking to be a world changer, if you're seeking to make a big difference, whether you want to make a difference in the lives of bullied kids or epileptic kids or anything like that, though, reinvent yourself, because before the new year came in, I got him as a friend got me involved with Primerica and things like that, and he was prophesying over me, and I was just like, wow, he's right. I gotta reinvent myself though, like as a man, as a businessman, as an artist, reinvent in 2024, and with Amway, like I got awesome, sponsors. Shout out to friend and Al Hamilton. Like they're all about positive energy, so like in order for us to truly tap into our full potential, don't feed off of negative, toxic energy. Feed off of positive energy. Feed off of positive energy like it's a fruit salad.
Yeah, I love that. I love your visuals. There's the food fusion involved there. No, that's wonderful, and it's an important message. Thank you again for sharing that. How can people follow if they want to see your progress and how everything develops for you? Is there a way that they can reach you either through email, social media, anything like that you could share? And again, I'll add that to the description of the episode.
Yes. Like my personal email is madridchina7 at gmail.com, and I'm also on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, and my Instagram is neek_art. And if you got questions though about Polysaw, or if you're interested in maybe connecting with me though about what I'm about, like Primerica and about like Amway, you can reach me through there. We can chat, and I'll provide more information, and I would love to hear from you.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you again so much, Carlos. You've shared quite a lot with us, and yeah, we'll put in your email and social media angles as well, so people can reach you if they need to. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up? Is there anything, because we kind of covered quite a bit, but I just thought maybe if something popped up while we were talking, if there's anything else you'd like to add.
Yes, ma'am. Like when it comes to anybody, struggling with epilepsy, especially like students, I just want to encourage you to be the best, version of yourself. Don't let it get you down. Take proper care of yourself. And I'll tell you what my friend Susan told me. You can have epilepsy, you can have autism, you can even have Tourette's, but don't let it stop you from living your life. Be a diamond with a story to tell, though, by of course living your life best life. Take, proper care, you know, of yourself, and and don't let nobody, take your joy. Don't let no one put that fire out in your belly.
Yeah, I love that. It's a beautiful message and it's so important to hear. So thank you again. I could talk to you all day. It's such great positive energy, and that's what we need. So thank you again. And anytime you want to come back on, you're always more than welcome to hop on. And thank you again. For everybody again who are watching, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the channel, and make sure to follow Carlos as well, or Nick Men, as you may get to know him as well. And until then, stay safe, stay awesome, and we'll talk soon.